So welcome. Jamie and Susan Alden, if you are just listening or tuning in for the first time. So let's just start with finding whatever your comfortable seat is. If you're seated in a chair or if you're seated on the floor, we're going to do the breath practice that we shared last week for week 1, because all of these challenges, it all builds on each other. And really and truly, what we taught last week is the foundation to everything. And your breath is something that you have no matter what. Everything else is bonus. So we feel like this is the most important part, truly. Getting your mind ready to receive, focus, clarity. And it truly is, you'll see as we talk about today, the foundation for everything. So we're just going to very shortly go through the sequence together. And lots of you were saying how it is fast. You can do this in a short amount of time. So we're going to do it a little shorter today and a little less explanation. So if you're listening to this the first time, maybe go back and listen to week 1, but we're going to give you some really just key information on how to do these practices. So
ready to begin?
I'm ready.
Okay.
So just start with closing your eyes. Let's begin to tune into our breath. And start to breathe in and out through the nose, inhaling and expanding. Exhaling and releasing, belly slightly contracts. Inhale, expand. Exhale, release. Inhale, expand. Exhale and release. So the first practice we'll do is breath of fire. And this breathing exercise is all in and out through the nose. And you'll really focus on the exhale breath. And it's as if you are blowing out a candle flame through your nose. So you'll inhale and then exhale, little puffs of air through the nose. Pumping the navel as you exhale, blowing out the candle with each puff of air out through the nose. Inhalation naturally arises. Just focus on the exhale for about 30 more seconds. And release the breath. Come back to that simple inhalation, exhalation throughout the nose, your organic breath.
And now that we have the breath activated, and we're going to control the breath with the next breath called bellows breath. What we're going to do is we're going to inhale through the nose, full inhale, and then 7-part exhale. So we're going to exhale without inhaling. We're going to exhale 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, all the air out of the lungs. That's one cycle. Then we're going to inhale through the nose again. Exhale, 7-part exhale. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Let's continue this breath on your own for the next 1 minute. Inhale through the nose. At your pace, 7-part exhale through the nose.
And kind of like breath of fire, it's like you're blowing out a candle with your nose. Or 7 candles with your nose. How about that?
Really controlling the breath, controlling that exhale. Every breath, you're exhaling 1/7 of your entire breath. 30 more seconds. Ten more seconds. Stay with the breath. Last round. At the completion of the round, just find your organic breath. Breathe. Breathe. Feeling all the sensations, noticing the sensations in your body. Breathe.
And now for this next one, we're going to incorporate some movement through the arms. And so this one is called Activate and Cleanse. And you're going to have some energy in your hands. Your hands will kind of be like mitten hands, and you'll have the arms up. And you'll inhale through the nose and drop the right arm and kind of come down and hit the side of your body. And then exhale through the mouth and hit the left side of your body. So inhale nose, exhale mouth. Inhale nose, mouth, nose, mouth. And it's really big breath. And you're hitting the side of your body. You might feel yourself shake a little bit. This is activating the lymph. You can speed it up a little bit. Listen to your body.
30 more seconds. And more seconds. Five more seconds. Stay with it. Okay.
Now
And-
inhale. Deep breath in through the nose. Hold it for a moment. Just hold at the top of the breath. Then exhale. Release the arms down. Settle the breath once more.
Noticing the sensations. Connecting to your breath. Notice how when you pay attention to your breath naturally slows. Okay, when you're ready, open your eyes. The next breath we're going to do is called Agni Star. It's a stomach pump. So what we're going to do is we're going to inhale through the nose. We're going to hold the breath at the top of the inhale, and then we're going to pump the navel 7 times. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Then release the breath. Controlled release through the nose. That's 1 round. Let's do it again. Inhale through the nose. Pump the navel 7 times. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Release the breath through the nose. Continue at your pace for the next 30 seconds. Inhaling through the nose, pumping the navel 7 times, and then releasing the breath through the nose at your pace. 15 more seconds. So just one more round. The completion of the round. Come back to your natural breath. Noticing the sensations. Breathe.
And the last breathing exercise we'll do is called alternate nostril breathing, or alone below. And you'll bring your index finger and middle finger together and bring them right to your forehead. The thumb on the right hand closes the right nostril. The ring finger on the right hand closes the left nostril, and you're going to open and close the different nostrils as we breathe. And it kind of looks like a rainbow. So inhaling up and exhaling down, inhaling up and exhaling down. So I'll talk you through it. You can have your eyes open or closed, but ultimately you would like to have your eyes closed on this. Start with closing the right nostril with the thumb. Inhale deeply through the left. Close both nostrils, open the right, and exhale. Inhale right. Close both nostrils, open the left, and exhale. Inhale left. That was one round. Open or close both nostrils, open the right, and exhale. Inhale right. Close both nostrils, open the left, and exhale. That would be 2 rounds. Keep moving with your own breath at your own pace for several more rounds. Full, complete inhalation and exhalation in and out through the different sides of the nostrils.
Do 30 more seconds. Staying with the breath. Let's do one more complete round. After you exhale out of the left nostril, release your hand down to your knees. Breathe. Noticing the sensations.
Go ahead and bring both palms of your hands together, thumbs pressing to heart center, really feeling the sensation between both your palms. Grounding, connecting, and then offering yourself gratitude for taking this time to breathe and to nurture your mind, body, and spirit. Go ahead and release the hands down, open your eyes. There you go. So just a little bit more than 10 minutes. If you cut out our talking, you can easily do that whole sequence in 10 minutes, or do just a few of those breathing practices. So remember, you can do any of them as a standalone practice or do them all together. We've linked them all together because of what we're really trying to do on this whole 4-week series. And so that's going to lead us into what we're going to talk about today with what's coming for week 2 that will challenge you to incorporate into your life. So I'm going to switch gears. So last week, this was our challenge, right? Some meditation every day,
some breath work every day, and 3 gratitudes every day. So pretty simple, but it still takes a lot of discipline, does it not? It takes intention. You just have to do it. So here is our challenges for this week. It's going to be in 4 different categories: food, hydration, sleep, exercise, which I know all of you are doing. You all have mindful awareness around this. And this challenge is about meeting yourself, appreciating where you are, and maybe up leveling a little bit from where you are. So we're going to start out with talking about exercise, that the challenge this week, and you may be doing way more than this, and that is fantastic. If you're not, if you're one of those people like we are, where it maybe doesn't happen every day, we intend for it to happen every day, and maybe it doesn't. I'm going to challenge you to every single day, 20 to 30 minutes of exercise every day. And that could be as simple as taking a walk after dinner. If you've had a busy day and you're like, I didn't get my workout in, I didn't go to yoga, whatever it is you do, I didn't, dance my hula today. I see Kumu over there. Whatever it is, get out and take a walk your dog after dinner. And so I'm going to encourage you to do that. If you can get a sweat on, that's really important. When we're talking about detoxifying the body, sweating is really, really important, right, Debbie? So I don't know. I just want to, we're going to go through the first ones kind of quick, but I don't know if you want to add anything on this exercise, Debbie.
Well, absolutely. And I love the fact that you added in moving the lymph, because the circulation of our blood happens with our heart, but there's no heart for the lymph system. There's no pump for that except moving those muscles. So the muscles are going to be the pump to get that lymph flowing. And that is so critical to the detox of the body and just the general well-being and health of the body. For someone who is elderly, maybe unable to walk any long distance, if they have access to a small rebound or a small trampoline, we can do what oftentimes we did in the clinic. And that is what's called a health bounce, where the foot is just static and it never leaves the trampoline, but that movement can actually help the lymph to flow. So there's a lot of things that can be done, but I love the fact that you added in the lymph.
Yes, lymph and the bowels, right? A lot of times when we're detoxing, when we clean up our diet, or maybe even with the cellular activation products we're using, where people start detoxing, right? And you're detoxing through the lymph, you're detoxing through the bowels, and you want to keep things moving. And if your body's not moving, your bowels are not moving well. That is for certain. Another thing about exercise is the older we get, weight bearing is really important. And sometimes we forget about that. So if you're not if you're doing some cardio, but you're not so much integrating any weight bearing, getting some weights, even just doing yoga can be a great thing where you're using your own body weight. But that's important too, right, Debbie?
Absolutely. I know that Tai Chi is really popular for older people, which is a lot of balance. And that is something that is lost as people age. That balance, that's a critical factor. And that would also include that weight bearing as well.
Right. Okay, so the second challenge, or the number 2 of the 4-part challenge, is your sleep. Getting better sleep. This is a big one for so many people, and it is so important. So again, we all have our own sleep patterns. These are some recommendations that you can do to get better sleep. We're going to challenge you, go for at least 7 to 8 hours of sleep. So I'm a big fan of 7 to 8 hours. Some people say, oh, I need less, or some people need more, but 7 to 8 hours is a general guideline. Get in bed before midnight. That is really key. Your liver especially does its heavy lifting, detoxifying the body at night. And you have to be sound asleep before midnight, right, Debbie? I know Debbie and I talk about this a lot.
Absolutely. And those before, for the detox part of it, but as well for the before midnight hours, that's when your body makes its melatonin. So if you're not making melatonin, which is critical for so many functions in the body as well as for your sleep, my family knows I turn into a pumpkin after about 9 o'clock. So I'm a 9 to 5er. Get me in bed at 9. I'm happy at 5.
Right. And so with that, we could have put this on the food portion, but I put it on the sleep portion. Stop eating at least 3 hours before bed. And why is that, right? We're digesting, we want to have restful sleep, and we want that, our digestive system, our liver to kick in and process anything that wasn't so great for us. If you give more time, a lot of people are now moving towards intermittent fasting, which is just eating within a certain period of time. But I think this is a super simple guideline that most people can do. It's just stop eating 3 hours before you go to bed. Now, that doesn't mean you eat at 8 o'clock and then you're like, I'm going to go to bed at 11. I've been guilty of that sometimes. But that is just a key guideline that's going to really shift how you feel better and support the detoxifying of your body.
There's an amazing fact that goes with that, and that is that the stomach, if I had a plastic bag here and I like a Ziploc bag with water and I were to squeeze the bottom of it, and it would push the fluid up, right? And then I let go and the fluid's going to drop back down. That's essentially what your stomach is doing. It's pushing and dropping, pushing, dropping. And when you lay down, can you imagine the push? Where's the water going to be? It's just going to be sitting there. It's not going to move. So that digestion process doesn't happen well when you're in the horizontal position. That's just the way we're made. So we want that digestion to be complete. When food ferments in the system, you build up toxins. It's just, so definitely you want to eat early enough so that your food has a good chance to get through most of its digestion before you're in that horizontal position.
Great, thank you. And then screen time. Cut out your screen time at least an hour before bed. TV, phone, computer, all of that. That blue light, it's impacting how your body moves into rest, but also your melatonin production. So an hour before bed, and that will dramatically change the way you sleep, I promise.
Even with my blue blockers, I have found that if I am on the screen right up until 9 o'clock, when I'm headed to bed, I do not sleep as well. My body just doesn't kick into that deep sleep. So I have actually experienced this firsthand, that I definitely, in fact, I've got an alarm on my phone, electronics off, 8 o'clock, boom. And I turn them off and I go, okay, there's that rare occasion where I'm on a deadline. And that's when I notice that I don't sleep as well.
Right. And then lastly, these calming breaths. So the last breathing exercise we do in that series, that alternate nostril breathing, that is actually a great one to do in the evening. That is a breath that calms the parasympathetic nervous system. And it also helps to balance the right and left hemispheres of the brain. So if you're, sometimes you lay in bed at night and your brain is very active and you're trying to calm down, that's a great one to do. And you can preferably you're doing it sitting up in the daytime, but at night you can literally lay in bed and do the alternate nostril breathing, and it'll really help to calm your nervous system and your mind. So that's your sleep guidelines. Next, hydration. So key, particularly when we're talking detoxifying the body. So drink water, and our guideline is at least half your body weight in ounces daily. Now, if you live in a hot place, a dry place, the tropics like we do, or you have a lot of activity, you're sweating a lot, obviously you need to drink more than that. But we're going to encourage you to increase your water intake this week. Consider even using filtered water. If you don't use filtered water already, this is something to think about. Our city water, municipal systems are filled with toxins, like big time. Whether it's glyphosate, which is, by the way, a water soluble chemical, like it is in our rain, it's in our water sources. It's nearly impossible to rid the earth of this glyphosate at this point. It's in your waters, your your municipal water systems. Another thing that's in your municipal water systems are these forever chemicals. And we're going to talk a little bit more about those next week, what forever chemicals are, but they're basically what it sounds like, forever chemicals that stay in the earth and they stay in your body. And so really important, they're very prevalent in our water system, particularly around areas of industry. So you might want to think about filtered water. And by that, I mean some good systems, reverse osmosis. You can actually find them very inexpensive online if you're willing to do an under the sink kind of thing. Distilled water, a Berkey water system. I don't know if you've seen the Berkey, but they're the gravity fed. I mean, they're super simple. You don't have to do anything different to your kitchen. They can be on your kitchen counter, or I even set ours like kind of outside by our laundry. So those are simple things you can do. And here's the other great thing. It keeps you from using so much plastic. So if you're like, oh, I'm buying, my distilled water, my reverse osmosis, but you're bringing it home in this plastic gallon, then you're getting the plastic, which are all, again, filled with these chemicals that we don't want in our body. Particularly those of us, women, it has a lot of estrogens. Plastic has these xenoestrogens that really throw off your endocrine system. So we could talk about that for days, but Debbie, what would you like to add on this portion?
And there may be some people that look at that half your body weight in ounces. So let's say someone was 100 pounds and they needed 50 ounces. In working with clients, I've had people go, 50 ounces, how could I ever drink 50 ounces in a day? That's an incredible, well, as my husband's grandmother would say, that's enough to sink a battleship. So there are people that just have not developed that habit. And as we age, it's like a small child that cries for something. And when they're not given it, eventually they quit. The body's that same way. It will cry for water, and it has many, many ways to cry for water. And if we aren't answering that cry, it actually stops crying for water. So you may have to move past that, I don't feel like, or my body's not asking for water, move past that to actually drink that and redevelop that, resensitize the body to actually wanting water. And also to remember that when you are thirsty, you are already dehydrated. So it's important. People just think, oh, I just wait till I'm thirsty. No, the body's already lacking water. So water is so important, as Susan said, for the detox and our brain, just our brain function. It's critical to make sure you're getting enough water.
Absolutely. Okay, so now we're moving to food. Again, everyone is in a different place with their nutrition, their diet, but this is your challenge this week. Eat more raw, particularly organic, even live food. We're going to talk a little bit about live food every single meal. So maybe at breakfast, you have a fruit salad or a piece of fruit. Lunch and dinner, have a salad, have a green salad or some vegetable, some cut vegetables, something raw every single meal that you eat, and see how that shifts. And so I want to talk about this a little bit in terms of, yes, I think most of us would know that something from the tree, the plant is better than something from a can, right? And why is that? Well, one, it has way more nutrients, but it also has more life force. So I want you to think of life force, even when you're shopping. So say you have, I was thinking about this. I was at a kids event, and the kids were eating like the little rip open the package of oranges, like the little mandarin oranges, right? So you got that package, but you could just buy the oranges, right? You could buy the oranges in the grocery store, but if you buy the oranges, like here, we actually have an orange tree, but even going to the farmer's market, right? So as close as you can get to the source, and that it's fresher, it's going to have more nutrients, more life force, and therefore you're populating your body with that. So I'm a big fan of sprouts. And so I want to talk about sprouts a little bit, because that is what, when we talk about sprouts or even soaking your nuts, that is live food. So you've probably seen them in the grocery store, right? Here we have, this is a sunflower sprout. These are pea sprouts. You could eat, let's just say peas, right? Because peas are something that maybe some of you are eating. If you eat the pea sprouts, not just the peas, it's anywhere 10 to 30 times more nutrient dense. It has all the enzymes. Inside, when you cook food, you lose the enzymes and a lot of the nutrients. When they're heated over 115 degrees, whether that's baking or boiling, whatever you're doing, you're killing off some of the nutritional value. So when you eat sprouts, you're eating the live food. And you can find them in the grocery store. You can also sprout them yourself. And so that's actually our drawing today, by the way. Somebody's gonna get a sprouting lid and some sprouting seeds, because it is too easy. You have a mason jar, you can sprout. So I will post a little video on just exactly how to. It is really, really simple. But have a look at this. Hopefully you can see. Here is some of the sprouts that I'm sprouting right now. You see the little sprout? This is when they have the most energy and the most life force. And when you eat that, you are like, your cells are going, whoa, like, oh my gosh, the energy and vitality you get from that. And I'll tell you a little story. When I went with my mother to a holistic healing center that was really geared around raw live food, and sprouts were their big thing. And so you think, I'm going to be hungry. I'm going to eat this meal. It's mostly, it's raw food and mostly sprouts. I'm going to be so hungry. So I made myself this big, huge plate. I mean, platter-sized plate of all these sprouts. And I got about like halfway through them and I was so full. Why was I so full? Because the food was light. It's because it's nutrient dense. So I could have eaten a whole box of like gluten-free crackers or something, organic gluten-free crackers, and still been hungry. But eating that nutrient dense food, I was filled. I was so full. So that is a kind of overarching theme of the challenge this week. Here's some more specific guidelines. Of course, the raw at every meal, eliminating the processed food. This one's a hard one because when you start really being aware of it, you realize I'm eating a lot of processed food. But if you can at least do it for snacks, instead of like grabbing the packaged granola bar, maybe you can grab the piece of fruit, right? Just try that for this week. Adding in more organic food. The more organic food you can add in means you're kind of shifting away from something that maybe has a lot of, chemical toxins on there, pesticides, chemical fertilizers, things like that you don't want in your body. That's obviously better. Eliminating some of you, I know some of you are already talking about this, I'm trying to get off sugar, I have a gluten sensitivity, dairy, all of these things. Just try, listen to your body. Maybe try dropping, I call them the big three because they're like the things that your gut hates the most if you're having any gut health issues. Adding in the live food, my favorite. And it's interesting, if you add that in, you might find you don't crave some of that other stuff as much because you're a little more satiated. And then this one's a big one for a lot of people, but I tell you what, it can be a big game changer if you've got anything going on and you're really trying to detox. Just give your body a rest from coffee and or alcohol. Just give it a try. There's some great, really yummy coffee alternatives out there that you can even brew just like coffee. So we'll share some of that on the Facebook page. But anything you want to add here, Debbie? I know we're getting close here, but what would you like to share? We could talk about this one for days as well.
You've done a great job in covering this, and facts tell, stories sell. My husband had a coworker who was a forager. I mean, he was constantly nibbling and constantly hungry, never satisfied. Consequently, his weight was higher than where he would have liked it. And one day he was watching my husband eat. He'd forgotten his lunch, and I'd packed him these sandwiches that had whole grain bread and sprouts and lettuce and tomato and cucumber and avocado. And he goes, "So are you gonna eat that other sandwich?" And the rest, he goes, "You can have it." And he pushed it over to him. And he came back the next day and he goes, "What was in that food?" He goes, "I was not hungry until 9 o'clock at night." And Rusty had to tell him it was because of all the live, nutritious food full of enzymes and nutrients that your body was craving. And that's why it was asking for all these other things, but you just didn't realize what it was truly asking for. So, so important what you shared, Susan. Thank you for sharing that.
Absolutely. So here it is. Here's your challenge for the week. So we'll build on what we did last week. The meditation, the breath work, the 3 gratitudes, and then wherever, again, meet yourself wherever you are. Maybe try to up level this a little bit in terms of eating fresh and clean, staying hydrated, your sleep schedule, your exercise. And we have created, hopefully you can see this. We have created some little habit trackers. So you'll have the one from last week, and then there's a new one for this week. And so let's see if you can see this. You can just fill it out based on where you are. We've got the recommendations, but you'll see down here on the food one, it's blank. So, just fill it out with what feels right for you and just see how it goes. So, okay, we are going to kind of shift into a little bit of Q&A. If you need to go, please feel free, but I know some of you might have some questions. It's a lot of information. You might even have some questions about, we get a lot of questions for those of you who are on our cellular activators and with regards to detox. So this is a great time to ask questions about that. So I'll just open it up and go for it.